Alright, ladies and gentlemen, the brand new 5.6 Abyss has just released, so, we already have to try it out with some of our newest units, including our Varesa, which is freshly built with a brand new plum set, as well as our brand new ESCOFFIER, who we picked up just recently. Now, one thing you guys will see straight away is that there is a skill cryo damage increase by 75% in this Abyss. So what I've decided to do is, because last time I used a level 70 166 talents ESCOFFIER, but since my ESCOFFIER now has a high level as well as talents, what I decided is I'm not going to run her on Golden Troop. Golden Troop gives you 70% damage bonus, so I'm basically cancelling out that 75% damage bonus by not running Golden Troop. Instead, we are just running a attack, cryo damage, as well as crit damage, completely rainbow set, no set bonuses whatsoever, to try and make this more fair. When it comes to the actual team itself, we're going to be using, of course, we're going to be using our C1R0, since I feel like it's been a while since I've got to use them. So, I want to show off my lovely Razi, who has actually got a top 3% artifact set on him, which is very nice, as well as, of course, Furina, the star of the show, ESCOFFIER, and Shenhe. And then on our second half, we're going to be going for our Varesa, who is freshly built with a new plum set, as well as Chevreuse, of course, as well as a who is C4, I believe, so not C6. Iansan, who is C2, so also not C6, and then finally a Mavuika. Character builds will be at the end for a full showcase. But yeah, let's just hop right into it. But real quick, if you guys want to pick up any brand new Genshin characters, then I have the perfect thing for you, and that's today's sponsor, lootbar.gg. You can use lootbar to top up in your favorite games like Genshin Impact or Honkai Star Rail and save up to 25%, which now applies on Xbox and PS5 as well. Lootbar leverages favorable exchange rates and uses Wriothesley's partner route, so you can get the most affordable prices and still enjoy the top up bonuses you would in game. Transactions on lootbar are safe, simple, and secure, as you only need to enter your UID and your region, and you will get fast delivery. I decided I'm going to buy one of my friends the Welkin Moon as a little gift, so I just go here, copy and paste their UID, and then just have to enter their region, and then I just press top up now, and I received my purchase in literally less than 10 seconds. Creators like Ride and Shotgun, Tevat Times, and Mordex Tryhard are also collaborating with Lootbar, so they are trustworthy, and they also have thousands of positive reviews on Trustpilot. And I've used it myself before, so I can vouch for the authenticity, speed, and security. New users can also get an extra 8% off, so be sure to check out Lootbar with the link in the description. Thank you to Lootbar, and back to the video. Okay, and here we are on the first half with our Razi team. We are going to pick up this burst buff. It's not going to be insane for this half. I tend not to use my Razi burst that much. I just rather go into a new rotation. Although it's going to be helpful for our Mavuika on our other half, and then I guess for some of Varesa's burst as well, although her burst count as plunge attack damage actually? I'm not too sure. Anyway, as we can see here, okay, we're hitting for about 56k there on a charge attack, which I will take. Now then, let's see if we get all of our buffs up again. We are using the Shenhe hold skill because I believe that's the one which gives us normal and charge attack damage. And yep, we're still hitting for about 56k here per charge attack. Luckily, we do have these guys kind of grouped up right now. Okay, we're getting bounced back a fair bit. Okay, we can actually launch another charge attack there. And I'm going to use my burst here. I think that did a decent bit of damage. I couldn't really see properly. You can barely see numbers when Raz uses his burst because there's just way too many. Anyway, we're going to go on to conserve some energy here because these guys are so close to dying. And okay, yep, we managed to clear that in 58 seconds despite the fact that we were conserving energy. Once again, this is C1, so you would kind of hope for that. And okay, now we have this guy who, I'm not going to lie, is a very annoying boss. I think this second half of this Abyss is one of the most annoying ever because you have a massive pyro damage check here, and then you have a Natlan character check on the second chamber and especially on the third chamber because, oh my god, the Papilla is just such a horrible enemy in this game. I wish they would just absolutely delete it from the game. And yeah, let's fill up this pyro gauge some more. And I'm not gonna lie, the only time I've fought this has been in the overworld. This is my first time fighting it in Abyss, so I think all I want to do is just fill up this pyro gauge as much as we can. The reason why I'm using Varesa here is just so that we can get some more damage in, and then Mavuika will still be proccing from off field. And okay, we're nearly there. We should, okay, never mind, I was gonna say we should get a Mavuika proc from off field, but it doesn't seem like we will. But there we go, we managed to take him out, and he does have Electro on him, so we were able to trigger a overcharge there on our Chevreuse to get all of our buffs up. 220k there on our Mavuika ult. I should mention she is on an EM stance rather than an attack stance because I couldn't be bothered to switch her over. And now our Varesa is hitting for over 100k on her charge attacks most of the time, as well as from her burst, although our buffs have now ran out. Although we do have 45 seconds left, so that shouldn't be too much of a problem. I do wish that we would have been able to one-cycle him there when he was down, but what can we do there? Okay, let's see. Let's just spin around as much as we can, get him into his other state, because I believe his resistances are slightly lower there, although I'm not 100% certain. Okay, I believe they are. We're not hitting for insane damage. Well, at least it's something. Let's just funnel some more pyro particles now into us. Now there we go. Okay, so that Chevreuse is closer to our burst, and there we go. We managed to just about clear the second chamber. Definitely definitely clearing faster on the first chamber was helpful, but you know we still managed to do okay on the second half. I will admit I'm not the biggest expert on what to do there, but we managed to clear it. That's what's most important. And with that being said, let's move on to the second chamber. Alright, and here we are on the second chamber once again with our Wriothesley. Actually no, I'm not going to take the max HP buff, we're going to take the skill buff because I believe... Actually no, Varesa doesn't do skill damage, does she? I don't know. Okay, well, ESCOFFIER does skill damage, so you know, that will be very nice for us. Anyway, let's once again go through with our rotation. Okay, these guys basically died during setup, and we're still hitting these guys for big numbers. And oh, okay, we actually hit 67k there on our charge attack on the PMA, and this is with his resistances being raised. Okay, we managed to iframe his attack there using Furina's burst. I'm not gonna lie, these ESCOFFIER teams with triple cryo are just so satisfying to play. And also if you have Fav on everyone, Furina also gets her burst very easily. ESCOFFIER, I'm so glad she released. She is one of my favorite units to play after she released because she just makes cryo teams feel so much better. I know a lot of people are saying like, oh, she's such an example of power creep in Genshin. I don't think so. I actually, for now at least, I feel like she just raised cryo to the level it should be to be in line with other elements in the game. Now when Skr comes out, if she's very tied to ESCOFFIER, as you know, character design sometimes tends to be in higher games, then I agree there might be a problem, but I feel like that might be technically more of an issue with Skirk's design rather than ESCOFFIER's, although you guys can let me know down below. Okay, 66k there on a charge attack, and we managed to clear that very quickly using our Wriothesley. I mean, okay, we managed to get all our burst up from that. Okay, yeah, that was a about a 72-second clear, I want to say. Not quite 75 seconds, so that's very nice. Once again, we just hope to get under 90 seconds. Okay, we are going to fill up this guy's nice soul bar as well. Okay, we missed that attack. That's unfortunate, but we can hit him with our burst here. And now let's get some more electro on him so that we can trigger overload on Chevreuse, like so. Perfect. And now, once again, go into our rotation. This is, by the way, a C2 Iansan and a C4 Chevreuse, so we don't have C6 on either. In case you guys are wondering, like I said, character builds will be at the end, though. Okay, continuing on here with our rotation. Ooh, okay, his health is slightly low, but that shouldn't be much of a problem. Once again, continuing to make sure we trigger overload with our Chevreuse hold E, because I remember the day when I first used Chevreuse. Okay, can you get me on my bike? Nope, my bike, thank you very much. There we go. Okay, now we can use her burst, but yeah, as I was saying, I remember the day when I first used Chevreuse, and first of all, I didn't use her hold skill, and then when I started using her hold skill, people pointed out I had to trigger an overload reaction, so yeah, that was quite silly of me back at the time, but now at least we are using her properly for the most part. But with that being said, let's now move on to the third chamber, because we are rolling through things right now. Okay, and here we are on the third and final chamber. We do get ourselves a normal charge attack buff, which is also very nice for our Wriothesley. Now then, let's just use all of our stuff here. I will say I've been very impressed with this Wriothesley team's performance, but once again, this is C1 Wriothesley. But even then, free C1 Wriothesley has not felt the best to play since before ESCOFFIER released. And now I'd say even probably now a C1 Wriothesley feels very strong using ESCOFFIER, and I'd say a C0 Wriothesley still, although it won't feel as strong, it will still feel viable at least, because I feel like C0 Wriothesley in freeze beforehand didn't feel very viable, but now his C0 will feel viable, and if you have a C1, then it does feel very strong. Okay, unfortunately this guy did get his shield up, but we should be able to absolutely destroy it because we have so much application going on right now. Perfect, and we managed to clear in 42 seconds. Insane. So we didn't even take longer than 75 seconds for anything here, although now we have the real final boss of Genshin, and that is the Papilla, one of the most annoying characters in the entire game. Let's apply as much Night Soul as we can on him. Now let's use Varesa's plunge attacks to fill up that stupid Night Soul bar, and okay, there we go. We have managed to take it out. I feel like team building in this abyss is just so horrible because you need a lot of pyro on the second half, and then you also need either a lot of elemental application or a lot of Night Soul, and then it feels like you have to choose between either Night Soul / elemental application or damage, and then, you know, some teams will have both, but if you don't have both, then you're in for a not very fun time, that's for sure. Now then, let's just continue going on with our Varesa, run our Chevreuse here, as well as our Iansan's Buzz. Okay, we just managed to catch all of our particles there. Luckily, he did not just absolutely one-shot us there, because the Pupilla can also deal very, very, very high damage, which is also incredibly annoying, because it means you have to dodge, so you can't focus all your time on DPSing or applying elements to break his shield, although we are doing quite well here for ourselves, as I would hope so, in a team with 3 Natlan characters. Okay, let me use my burst, thank you very much, and there we go. We didn't even need to use our last plunge attack, and we managed to clear with 65 seconds left. But believe me, if I didn't have some of the characters I had, then I would be struggling. For example, in my second account, where I don't have like an Iansan or Sitlali for my Mavuika team, then that's going to be a struggle, which I'm not looking forward to. But luckily on this account, our C1R0 along with ESCOFFIER, and then our other half with a Varesa and Mavuika dual carry team managed to do just fine. So with that being said, let's move on to our character builds as well as the outro. Well then, as you can see, both sides were more than able to get the job done, even though this is one of the most annoying abysses which have released recently, which I feel like I've been saying for almost every abyss, apart from maybe the last one. But yeah, abysses have become quite annoying and restrictive nowadays, but what can we do about it? When it comes to our builds, starting off with our Wriothesley, 51 crit rate basically, which will be basically 100 as long as a enemy has a Cryo Aura on them from both Mercesay as well as the Frozen set. The Cryo Resonance, which will give us an extra 15% if they're either frozen or if they just have Cryo Aura on them. And since we are using ESCOFFIER, Wriothesley, and Shenhe with her burst, then we will have a lot of Cryo Aura. 290 crit damage, which is mostly thanks to our R5 Witstiff here. Of course, we are running Mercesay. We have about 34 crit value here, about 39 crit value there, if my math is right. Also about the 36 crit value there on our circlet, and then we also have this Goblet, which is very nice as well, only rolled into crit, and then 10.9 crit rate on our crit damage circlet. C1, the only constellation I have ever wished for intentionally in Genshin, for a 5-star triple crown talents, of course, because we love Wriothesley here. Furina is on 64 crit, 183 crit damage, as well as 222 ER. For her weapon, she is on an R1 fav to help battery the entire team and herself. Golden Troop, unlike our ESCOFFIER, who had her Golden Troop stripped off her. Constellation, she is also C0, and then talent, she is 2910. Once again, for our ESCOFFIER, I showed off kind of at the beginning, 61 crit, 172 crit damage, 161 ER on a R1 fav, level 70. It would be nice to level that up more so that you can get a bit more healing as well as ER. So yeah, I did show off the rainbow build already. And then Constellation C0 with 188 talents, so more work to be done. You could actually get a better ESCOFFIER than me if you're on her Golden Troop, however, fully leveled with more talents and a actually leveled up weapon. For our Shenhe, it's 34 crit, 75 crit damage with 217 ER. We can actually lower that ER nowadays now that we have triple cryo, but I'll get to that later. And then we also have an R5 Fav Lance here. With crit damage, you know, just 2 attack and then 2 attack again, but we are on ER stance. I will probably change this to an attack stance another time. Constellation C0 as well as 110 talents. When it comes to our second half team with our Varesa, we are slightly overcapped on crit rate. Unfortunately, we have 103.5 crit rate to 175.9 crit damage, but literally all of our Plunset artifacts roll heavily into crit rate, so there's nothing I can actually do about that. When it comes to our weapon, we have an R1 Lost Prayer. For artifacts, we do have this on the Plunset. We have at least 35 crit value on both our Flower and our Feather. Only 19 crit damage here on our Sands, but at the same time, we're already overcapped on crit rate, so we don't actually need any. We also have this off-piece as well. We have about 36 crit value and then 12 crit rate on our crit damage circlet. Constellation, she is also C0, 10, 6, 10 talents. When it comes to our Chevreuse, as 29k HP, with 128 ER, 30 crit rate, 50 crit damage. I do still need to level up some stuff for our Chevreuse. I'm not gonna lie, we just have so many Fav Lances that we have to level that I'm getting a bit lazy, if I'm being entirely honest. Once again, she is C4, so doesn't have her C6. She is on Noblesse to boost both our Varesa as well as our Mavuika's damage. Her artifacts aren't fully leveled either, just because I need a lot of artifact XP. 111, 1 talents. Then when it comes to our Iansan, 2.3k attack, 45 crit rate, 197 ER on a level 80 Fav Lance. Once again, a lot of Fav Lances. Of course, on the Synthesis set for both of our Mavuika as well as our Varesa. Once again, C2, so she doesn't get her C4 or C6 buffs, as well as 1 to 10 talents. And then finally, when it comes to our Mavuika, 59.8 crit rate, which goes up to 99.8 once Obsidian activates, as well as 242 crit damage mostly thanks to the R1 Serpent Spine. Of course, you can also run her on Mailed Flower if you have it, because that's an event weapon, which I also now have leveled up. So one, I can't be asked to level it up. Second of all, it's probably even less obtainable than Serpent Spine. Wolf's Gravestone would be my second choice if I actually, once again, was bothered to level one up. But it's a 5-star weapon, so it requires quite a few materials. Obsidian as well. Decent pieces on our Mavuika. She's a top something % as well. I don't remember. You guys can just plug in my UID to Akasha yourself if you want. C0 with 1A10 talent. So yeah, that's it for our character builds. Once again, very, very happy with how the run went. And now I'm going to have to suffer on my second account, where I don't know what I'm going to do for the second half. So yeah, that will probably come out one day. But with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed, and see ya.